Hello class and welcome to the video pertaining to German unification. Now if you remember a little bit, last time we talked about Italian unification, but we started off with the talk about nationalism. Now nationalism again is an extreme pride in your nation or your ethnic group. We saw that portrayed well in the Italian unification when Cavour and Garibaldi used their military strategy, their guerrilla warfare, and their superior intellect to try and unify a common people, the Italian people, as one nation. We're going to see this again in Germany as one man, a man by the name of Otto von Bismarck, will take the collection of German peoples all across the center of Europe and will help create modern Germany. Now, if you look at Germany, in the 1820s, 1830s, before unification, it was an absolute mess. There are 39 different small countries that all speak German. 39 small countries. Either they're tiny little cities or city-states, or they're big, huge territories like the Austrian Empire down here or the Prussian Empire up here. All these different states have different rules, they have different rulers, they have different everything, but one thing, they all speak German. So one man is going to decide, hey, all German-speaking people need to be under the same government and be unified, therefore we can be strong, and we can prevent another Napoleon like we had not been able to do in the past. So that leader is going to come from the area known as Prussia, this darkish blue area towards the top, and also the dominant military force in the German Confederation. As I talked about before, Germany at the time is actually just 39 different countries, but they all have the exact same language. They all have the exact same culture. I mean, they all drink beer. I mean, they all drink they all eat hamburgers. They all have crazy mustaches. I mean, I don't know what, they all wear lederhosen. I don't know what Germans do, but they all do it together, but they're not the same country. The one thing that drove them closer and closer to unification was something known as the Zollverein Agreement. The Zollverein Agreement pretty much stated that, here, let's go back to the map, that despite the fact that we're Austrian or Bavarian or Prussian, we're not going to prevent trade. We're not going to prevent travel. So each one of these countries can trade with each other freely. When railroad tracks leave the Austrian Empire, Bavarian railroad tracks just continue on. They don't stop. So they allow trade between each of the states to enhance economic power. So when you look at the German area, the Germans are like 90% there to being a unified, strong country. They just need one person to say, you know what? Let's do it. Let's go all the way. That man is going to be a man by the name of Otto von Bismarck. Look at that mustache. That's an amazing, powerful, that's a man's mustache right there. Well, the Otto von Bismarck is going to be the prime minister of Prussia. Now, Prussia, again, this big bluish, dark blue area at the top. You can see Prussia's labeled there. Okay, that's the dark blue area. He's going to be the prime minister of Prussia. He's going to be under a king by the name of Wilhelm I, but Otto von Bismarck is really the guy. He's going to have a philosophy. This philosophy is going to be called Realpolitik. Realpolitik. Now, Realpolitik means something pretty simple. It states that he's going to be a practical individual. He's going to do what's best for Germany. He doesn't really care about France or Italy or China. He doesn't care about solving world hunger or spreading the Enlightenment ideas. He wants his nation to be strong and therefore to conquer more areas. So he's going to do whatever he can to make Prussia stronger and Germany stronger. So this part right here is key. Policies are going to be built around making what's best for Prussia, not for any other nation, not for Austria or Bavaria or France, but what is best for Prussia. So he's going to go and he's going to decide that all German-speaking people should be unified as one nation. So he goes to his government, his parliament, his democracy, and says, hey, parliament, I need help. I would really like to unify all the German people. In order to do that, I need an army. Now, Prussia already had one of the best armies in the world, but it wasn't necessarily the largest one. So what he wants to do is he wants to expand the military by a lot and hire more soldiers and buy them equipment and buy the best equipment, everything, so that he can unify Germany. Well, he asked the Prussian Assembly for higher taxes to fund the army, and he gives this magnificent speech, which today is kind of known as the Blood and Iron speech. Wow, that's a crazy title. The Blood and Iron speech, and the key line in the Blood and Iron speech you can actually see right over here, and I want you to kind of analyze this just a little bit and tell me what you think that means, but the Blood and Iron speech is going to say, not through speeches and majority decisions will the great questions of the day be decided, but by iron and blood. Let me say that again, but more dramatically. Not through speeches and majority decisions will the great questions of the day be decided, but by iron and blood. I imagine that Bismarck would say it something like that whenever he said that. So what essentially he's saying is that not through voting, not through negotiations, not through talking all nice to each other are we going to unify Germany, but what's going to unify Germany is going to be warfare. And so we need an army to conduct warfare. Well, Parliament disagrees with him. They say, no, we're not raising taxes, we're not going to unify Germany, get away. Well, the Prime Minister has this trump card. The Prime Minister actually fires the entire Parliament. He fires all of them and says, fine, if you don't like it, we're going to hold new elections. So while the election process is taking part, what's ongoing, he's going to go ahead and raise taxes anyway. He's going to be kind of like a dictator for a short amount of time. He's going to raise taxes anyway, fund his army, and gets what he wants. You know why? Because Bismarck is who he is, and he's going to get what he wants. Now, after he gets his army, he's going to go on a rampage unifying Germany. Austria, if you look at the map again, Austria is really the only nation that can really stand up against Prussia. It's the only nation that's big enough and strong enough to do so. So Prussia is going to be the thing that they're going to have to try and dominate. Because they're both neighbors of each other and also they are so strong, war is absolutely inevitable. If the Prussians and Otto von Bismarck wants to unify, he has to defeat Austria. So he does some minor negotiations. He talks to Italy, and he trades a small piece of territory to Italy, and in return, Italy is going to help. They're going to attack Austria from the south, while Bismarck attacks from the north. And also, they talk to France, and France decides, nope, we don't want to be a part of this, so France is not going to attack Prussia or Austria. They're just going to stay out of it. With the pieces set, Bismarck's going to kind of instigate war. Now, he's not going to just let Austria start a war. He's going to make them start a war. So Bismarck moves a lot of troops, several thousand troops, to a border state between Austria and Prussia called Holstein. Holstein was an ally of Austria. When they moved into those areas, Austria had to declare war on Prussia, and they did. Now, why this is ingenious is Bismarck gave his people the reason to defend themselves. He didn't attack, even though he technically did. He never really attacked. He forced Austria to attack him, which means he can play the, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just defending my nation card, which is perfect for what he wants to do. The Austro-Prussian War is going to start, and Bismarck is actually absolutely going to dominate. The Prussian army is absolutely awesome. It is highly trained. It's got some of the best technology in Europe at the time. And in the end, they're going to defeat the Austrians in just 7 short weeks. Following the defeat of Austria, a peace treaty is going to be signed, in which several of the 39 nations are going to unify with Prussia to form this northern alliance of German states, and that's going to be kind of the northern Germany for a while. And so there's only a few nations left that need to be conquered in order to unify all of Germany, and that's going to lead to this next war. So we've got the Austro-Prussian War started by Otto von Bismarck, and then there's also going to be the Franco-Prussian War. Now, the Franco-Prussian War is going to rely on this area down here that I have circled and arrowed for you. It's called Alsace and Lorraine. Now, Alsace and Lorraine is a German province, so there's a lot of Germans in there. And there's also a lot of French in there. But the actual territory is owned by France. So this is a little confusing, but I want you to stay with me. There are Germans in there, but it's a territory owned by France, and Bismarck wants it. So what he does is he just kind of plays this card. He says, hey, there are German people there. They need to be part of our nation. I'm pretty sure the French are bad people. They're probably terrorizing the Germans, and all the Prussians are like, whoa, yeah, we should go in there. We should save them. And so Bismarck goes, okay, sounds great. Let's go in there and save them. So he attacks Alsace-Lorraine and defeats France in something stupid like 4 weeks. And it's a puny war, but it's the Franco-Prussian War. After France is defeated by Bismarck's superior forces, they're going to get the territory of Alsace-Lorraine, and the rest of the German states, like Bavaria and part of Austria, are going to join Prussia and create the new modern Germany. Now, after Germany is actually unified, all the nations, all the states of the German Empire are actually going to send representatives to a council. And this is going to be their version of democracy. Each of those 39 states is going to be able to send a representative, and they're going to vote on things. The first thing they vote on is they decide to declare the Prussian king, whose name is Wilhelm I. He's going to be the new Kaiser of all of Germany. Now, Kaiser pretty much means emperor or Caesar or king of a nation, and he's going to be essentially the Kaiser of the newly formed Germany. Wilhelm I, of course, gives Bismarck the greatest of honors. He makes Bismarck the first chancellor ever of Germany, which gives him absolute control over the government. And when this happens, you look at Europe, and all of a sudden, Germany is unified, and it's strong. It's got military presence. It's got industrialization. And so now all of a sudden, France is not really the dominant force anymore in Europe. It's now Germany. So Germany's going to have this awesome power, and Wilhelm and Bismarck are going to declare what's known as the Second Reich, or the Second Empire. They're going to create a new government called it's a federal system, much like the United States system. It's a shared system between the states and the central government. They're going to allow voting for all their people. They're going to allow political parties. But there's going to be kind of a problem after the economic growth. So Germany is going to quickly industrialize and become one of the fastest growing economies in Europe. They're quickly going to surpass a number of different economic powerhouses in Europe, including France, and become like an awesome power. But then Wilhelm II is going to come to power because Wilhelm I is going to die, and so his son is going to take over, and him and Bismarck are not necessarily going to agree anymore. Wilhelm II is going to realize that Bismarck is very, very influential and awesome, and so he wants him out of the way so that Wilhelm II can really get all the power. So he kind of makes up this phony stuff about Bismarck, and then Bismarck kind of like says, fine, I'm retired, and retires from power, leaving Germany unified. So if you look at the overall power of Germany, Bismarck has done a remarkable thing. He's used his power of his voice and his charisma and his military tactics and his military power to unify 39 different countries into one single nation. It's an amazing feat, and he did it in a very short amount of time. I look forward to hearing from you guys during class, and a couple more videos will be coming to you in the next few days. Have a great one.